What's up YouTube? We're back here with another tutorial. Today we're doing a low fade with some beard action on my boy right here. We're about to bless him. As you can see, his hair is a little bit more on the thinner side, but we're going to do our best to blend it up and give him a low fade. Always start every haircut by combing in which the direction of the hair is growing. That way you can successfully execute your fade. And starting off, we're going to clean up the canvas using a number 3 guard, going against the grain all the way to the parietal ridge. The parietal ridge is right there where the head starts rounding off. Right there where I have the comb pointed, as you can see, that's the parietal ridge. And all we're going to do with that number 3 open is go all the way up, and we're going to come on out, keeping everything nice and even. Now we'll go ahead and close that number 3, as you can just see right there, and we'll go ahead and go up all the way right underneath the parietal ridge now, where we left off with that 3 open. And it's going to be the same process on this side. 3 open right at the parietal ridge, 3 closed right underneath that. As you can see, by hitting it with the number 3, we're left with some sort of darkness right there on the parietal ridge. Don't worry about that right now. All we're focusing on is cleaning up the canvas, making everything nice and even, and then giving them the low fade. And eventually I'm going to show you guys a little tip to get rid of that darkness that you see right there on top of the parietal ridge. It's also very important as you go throughout the fade process, make sure you're cleaning your clipper thoroughly, getting all those hairs that are inside, as it could get clogged and your clipper will not work to its max peak performance. We'll now very gently with our trimmers set in our low bulb guideline. This guideline, you're going to want to take it all around the head and make sure it looks symmetrical on both sides. right underneath that, we're going to follow up with our shaver, getting it skin tight, going right underneath the line and flicking out. Make sure everything beneath that line is shaved completely and it's skin bald. It will show in the final result if you do not do that. Next step we're going with is the lever all the way open. We're making an inch guideline in the back, going to about half an inch around his ear so it's a little bit more compressed so we get that low fade action. When setting in your guidelines, you want to make sure everything is nice and even before you move on. Now we'll begin taking out that line, starting at the bottom of the line with the lever closed, going up a little bit. Then we should open up halfway and then get rid of it completely, and that guideline should be faded out. Don't be afraid to move back down to the bottom of the guideline and close it all the way again if you missed anything. The goal here is to make everything look like it's going from small hairs to bigger hairs, little by little, by closing that lever and opening it as needed. Now once you blended out that line completely and you see no lines, we're going with the one guard all the way open, following that same shape, using the same amount of guideline, about an inch to a half an inch, and make sure it contours that line that you made on the bottom that is blended out, following the exact same shape. As you can see, I just closed the lever now, and we're going against the grain, picking up that line, letting it just blend right into that one open. As you can see now, we have a more prominent line that is on top of my clipper right now. That line, we're going to use another guard to take it out. But right now, just use that one to soften out that line underneath that, and making sure there's no dark spots all around the canvas. Now we're going to go with no guard, lever all the way open, really flicking out in the space in between the two sections that were just faded out, just detailing all those dark spots. Make sure when you do this, just use the corner of the blade, meaning only using about 3 teeth of the blade, and you're really flicking out to marry those two sections together nicely. This will result in a smooth blend. Once that section is somewhat blended, we're going to go now with the 2 guard. First we're going to open it, then we're going to close it. Remember where you left off with that 3 in the beginning, and go right underneath that, and you should make a nice transition as long as you follow your steps. We're basically stacking the guards at this point. A very important tip when you're fading hair, make sure you're following which way the hair is growing. If you're fading out, you want to go against the grain. So we're here in the back, this hair kind of grows sideways, so I'm going to attack it the other way, going sideways, so you could get that nice even cut. We're going to be doing the same steps with this 1.5 guard, lever open, lever closed, lever halfway as needed. Just go ahead and fade a little bit, see how it looks like. If you need to go shorter, go ahead and close it halfway. If you need to go higher on your blend, go ahead and open it all the way. Remember, when you close it, you're cutting shorter. When you open it, it'll cut longer. After this step, you should see somewhat of a blend completed. This is the first rough draft. I will go back in detail. Right after this, we're doing a little bit of shear over comb just to refine things a bit. Now we'll be refining this fade with a little bit of shear over comb. Just make sure you have your comb pointed in the upwards direction. And remember, this comb is about a 1.5, so we're going right to that 1.5 section and just going up above there. If you go higher, make sure you lift the comb up and out away from the head. That way you could follow the size of it. And we're just tapping at any dark spots that we see. Just trying to make this blend a little smoother. Make sure you look at your mirror for this part, as it will tell you where all your dark spots are. Now, for the sake of the length of the video, I went ahead and skipped the other side, so you'll see the other side blended already. Same steps, you guys, following the same steps. Right now, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit more of refining, a little more finessing on the dark spots. Shout out to freebeats.io for the cool beats playing in the background. If you guys need beats, make sure you guys check out their website. Now, if you guys remember, I told you guys something about those dark spots on the top. All we're going to do is use a thicker comb. This is a 3-in-1 styling comb that I like to use for this part right here to connect the parietal ridge to the top. So with this comb, you don't have to be scared because of the thickness. It's about a number 3 already. So all you got to do is follow up with that parietal ridge and go all the way to the top, blending those hairs together, attacking any dark spots. Now next up, we're going to be fading the beard into the haircut. So what you're going to want to do for that is, every beard varies, but with this beard I decided to go with the 1.5 guard open, bringing it to right about right here. And all we're going to do is really exaggerate that scoop with that 1.5 open. Then we're going to do the same scoop just a little higher with the lever closed. And as we go shorter in length with the guard and the clipper, just make sure you go higher up on the beard, as we are fading in reverse. We are now going in with our 1 guard, first open then closed, following up right where we left off with that 1.5. Make sure when you go shorter you go higher and really exaggerate that scoop. If you see any dark spots that are a little bit on the lower side of the beard, just go ahead and just use a few teeth of the blade and you should be alright. Now we're going in with our 0.5 guard just to kind of buff things out a bit, getting it ready for our lever open, and then finally blending out that beard line. Now that things are nice and clean, we're going to go lever open, scooping up on the top of that beard line, and then closing it as we get to that initial guideline that we made with our trimmer. Nice and easy, you guys. Just flick out any dark spots. As you can see right here, I'm using just the corner of the blade just to knock out those dark spots that I see within the beard fade. Now our final step to complete the beard fade is going to be just buff it out with that trimmer. First going reverse, and going a little lower and flipping it back over. This just makes for a smoother blend when it comes to blending that beard into that skin bald that we did earlier. Now we'll be lining up the beard on the side right here, keeping everything natural. Don't push it in too far, just make a nice clean straight line. Now this next step right here is optional. After I'm done fading out the beard and lining up the sides, I like to use a hot beard comb to straighten out that beard before I trim it to determine its true length. Make sure you use some sort of beard oil or beard serum to protect his beard. I put the beard comb up to about 410 degrees, so you will see it smoking, but that is just the beard oil steaming off. It will protect his beard. And what I like to do is go up with that hot comb and then come down to establish the true length of the beard. Now after you get that beard straightened out with the hot comb, if you do have one, go ahead and start trimming the length to the client's desired style. Now that the beard is nicely trimmed, go ahead and follow it up with the razor, making sure you leave a nice, sharp and crispy line. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the before. And here's the after. Thank you guys for checking another one of my tutorials. If you guys liked the video, please go ahead and drop a like. comment, or subscribe, or do all of them. I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you and have a blessed day.